Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here with some post-fight comments on Paul Williams versus Sergio Martinez. First, let me say to the gamblers, in fact, let me back up a second. First, let me say, big game, Stanford Cardinal, congratulations, fellas. Andrew Luck, big ups. Let's talk boxing. Let me say to the gamblers who followed the advice of my week of the fight video for the Paul Williams versus Sergio Martinez fight. Let me just say congratulations. Uh, nice pickup. The straddle for the under 10.5 rounds was a plus 200. If you started with 100, you ended with 300, tripling your money. And of course, the second round knockout, you got that with literally 8.5 rounds to spare. That was a good deal in a fight where both fighters went off at worse than plus 100, right? They were, I believe, for Williams, a minus 120 to a minus 130, depending on your casino. And Martinez was, I believe, a minus 105. Let me also point out, too, if you took that under, it was so overwhelming and profitable that, of course, if you had Martinez to win the fight, you won on both ends of that bet, right? So you actually did better than tripling your money. And if you took Williams to win the fight, but you took the under, you actually still, if you bet 100 on Williams to win and 100 on the under, you won $200 on the under minus the 100 on Williams in a fight in which you took the wrong guy. You actually still made $100. Let's talk about the news for me in the fight. Let me just say the Williams knockout in the second round, where Williams hits the canvas, that's one of the scarier knockouts I've seen. When they put this film up on YouTube, or if you have it on your DVR, take a look at Williams' eyes. You're going to see that his eyes are wide open when he hits the canvas face first. He's concussed, and his eyes are open while he's unconscious. Scary stuff. Got hit flush with the left hand. That's part of the news for me. The other part, and it's a game changer as far as how I see fights, is the first round. And what I'd encourage people to do, forget what Emanuel Stewart said during the fight. I disagree with Emanuel. I saw a different fight. I thought the first round belonged to Martinez, and I thought the first round was staggering because Martinez comes inside on Paul Williams. And it's a way that I haven't seen anybody come inside on Paul Williams. He literally is pulling Bernard Hopkins maneuvers. Take a look at how, at one point it looks like he's holding Williams with his right while he's hitting him in the ribs with his left. The referee, of course, is on the other side. The ease in which he came inside, I mean, it was reminiscent of Andre Ward coming inside on Alan Green. And, I know I'm going to hear a lot about this, but for me, that changes the way I see some future fights. Manny Pacquiao right now is the junior middleweight champion. That's 154. There are other champions, right? Miguel Cotto's at 154. If Manny wants to come one floor up to 160, where Sergio Martinez is the champion, right? And I understand that would be a big jump. Manny is a great fighter, certainly a very successful fighter, right? But if he were to fight Sergio Martinez, quite frankly, my preferred play there, based on Martinez's ability to get inside and Martinez's power, right? Martinez is bigger than Pacquiao. He hits harder than Pacquiao. Quite frankly, in my opinion, in the ring, Martinez does more things than Pacquiao, including coming forward. My preferred play there would be to take Martinez, the underdog, I'm sure, in that fight, to win, straddled against Pacquiao by decision, with a kicker of Martinez by KO. The fact that Martinez can fight inside um, as successfully as he did uh, against Paul Williams tells me that he can get inside against Manny Pacquiao. And if you take a look at portions of Pacquiao's fight against Antonio Margarito, you're going to see that relatively early in that fight, Pacquiao's back hit the ropes. In fact, Pacquiao's back hits the ropes in a few rounds. Round 5, for example. I believe around round 8 as well. Pacquiao, I believe, could get backed up by Sergio Martinez, who, of course, is an excellent athlete. So just put that in your back pocket. Let me also say this, too. The guys at 168 in the tournament, Andre Ward, I'm just trying to name the biggest names possible in the sport. Andre Ward, Sergio Martinez, I think that's an intriguing matchup. Understand, when Sergio Martinez walked into the ring earlier tonight, or I guess very late last night, he actually weighed 168 pounds. And of course, at 168, he looked agile. His punches were accurate. Granted, the fight didn't go that long, but he certainly looked like he had his hand speed. He certainly looked like he had his balance and agility. I think he is of a size. This is a guy who was weighing in the 170s 30 days before this fight, right? He certainly has the size to be competitive against Andre Ward. I'd love to see Martinez against Ward. That's a fight where I personally would be on the sidelines, on the outside, looking in on that one. As for Paul Williams, let me just say this. Williams went back to his corner at the end of the first round. His cornerman said to Williams, who is a southpaw, he said to Williams, hey, you need to throw uppercuts. He's there for the uppercut, right? Martinez, in fact, was inside smothering Williams. He was there for the uppercut. Here's the problem, right? Just contort your body and figure out the punch. Here is Williams, and he throws a pretty good uppercut. A southpaw. You saw how he got hit. You saw how his left hand left him defenseless, right? Because Martinez had the faster hand speed, throws the shorter punches, and when Martinez landed that knockout punch, Williams himself was trying to get off the left hand. That uppercut, just the time it would take Williams to throw the uppercut would leave enough of an opening for Martinez to land the kind of left that he landed that ended the fight. Let me also point out, too, that the punch that Martinez landed that ended the fight is the same punch Martinez started landing with regularity in the last third of their first fight. As I have written in GamblersAdvisory.com's How to Bet on Boxing, in my opinion, once a counterpuncher in the first fight has cracked his opponent's code, and you knew that was the case with Martinez because Martinez started dropping his hands. He had figured out Paul Williams' rhythm, right? Once a counterpuncher has cracked the code in the first fight, that makes the second fight an accelerated match, and that gives that counterpuncher an advantage. Counterpunchers tend to do better in rematches. That's my theory. You can test it against your empirical data. One thing is certain. Unlike the first fight, Martinez knew here in the second fight that he could land that left hook when he had Williams in certain positions. And Williams, of course, came out, I thought, Williams was fighting the same fight that he fought the first fight. In fact, I thought he was doing a little bit worse because I noticed his volume had dropped in the interim fight against Kermit Cintron. I have not seen the CompuBox numbers. It is the night of the fight. But if Williams' volume dropped like I think it dropped, if you're a Paul Williams fan, that's a big cause for concern. I'm not sure which way Paul Williams turns right now. Quite frankly, given the brutality of the knockdown and the post-fight interview where Williams couldn't even talk about that second round. It didn't seem like Williams remembered the second round. He was asked about the knockdown, and he was talking about what his corner told him, and he said that he didn't see the punch. I didn't get the feeling he would have been able to have talked about even the first round if asked. I thought he was suffering from a little memory loss. So I hope Paul Williams takes the next 6 months off. I do believe there are going to be some interesting fights on the horizon for him, but facing a slick southpaw like Sergio Martinez, that was a bad matchup the first time. That was a worse matchup the second time. They literally gave a chess-playing counterpuncher a second bite at the apple on a fighter I thought he beat the first time around. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Don't be bashful. Talk about the betting plays you made that worked for you in the fight, and talk about the betting plays that you wish you made for this fight. Also, don't be bashful. Tell me whether you feel I'm picking on Manny Pacquiao. The only reason I mention Manny Pacquiao in this video is, of course, when you're talking about great fighters and you're wondering where Sergio Martinez goes from here, you really do have to talk about the big names in boxing. Let me say this too. I haven't mentioned Floyd Mayweather simply because I believe Roger Mayweather, and check this, you correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Roger Mayweather, his trainer, is looking at a trial early next year. I believe that Floyd himself is looking at a trial in the middle of next year. Quite frankly, I think those legal issues take precedence over Floyd Mayweather's boxing career. I also wonder, too, if Floyd, who fights at 147, who fought Oscar at 150, I wonder if Floyd would want to fight Sergio Martinez at 160. I'm not sure about that. I think Manny Pacquiao, though, recently was talking about fighting Bernard Hopkins. At least Freddie Roach was. If that's the case, if he's looking at bigger fighters, then I think Sergio Martinez is a big name, and I do believe that match would be historical. Also, let me just say this about Martinez. He's won the junior middle. He's won the championship at 154. He's won and now defended the championship at 160. His walking around weight makes him a viable opponent at 168, and you're going to have some big names. Alan Green's already out of the tournament, right? You're going to have some other names, the loser of Froch Abraham possibly falling out of the tournament. You're going to have some big names at 168 now being available. Showtime just paid Lucien Boutte a lot of money. Boutte against Sergio Martinez is one of the dream fights on my docket. I'd love to see it. If Martinez is able to win the super middleweight title to get his third title, understand we're not talking about a very good fighter. You're talking about a historical fighter at that point. Let me know what you think. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Hope you enjoyed the fight, and thanks for watching. Peace.